Hello there, friends. It is time for another Fox 411 and Kiss Country Neighborhood News, all brought to you by the great folks at CG Public Health, cghealth.com. Otherwise, they're out at the Plaza West Shopping Center. Today, it's Tom Balmer. We talked to him not too long ago, Children's Theater, of course, about the new production this time called A Little Princess Sarah Crew. Welcome, Tom. You want to tell us about this?
Sure. The show is a classic. It was a Shirley Temple movie, A Little Princess Sarah Crew. Sarah Crew is living in India with her father, the Captain Crew, and he brings her to England to board her at Miss Minchin's Select Seminary. He tells Miss Minchin, the teacher, that he wants her treated very special, and he's a very wealthy man, and she's an adorable girl, and she becomes the parlor boarder at the school. And then Captain Crew dies and loses his fortune, and Sarah is turned into a servant, and Miss Minchin then mistreats her and abuses her, and this was a movie, a Shirley Temple movie, and then it was made again in '95, and it's well read because every child protagonist in the history of the world is an orphan, and here's one more orphan, and she's very loving and upstanding, and like little orphan Annie, she is one more orphan that we think about and care about, and kids read about. And so we've got it on our stage. It's a very interesting play, very sentimental and romantic, and the people who come see this will laugh with her and cry with her and enjoy her exploits.
When you put something like this together, Tom, how many people do you need for a play like this?
This one has 30 in it.
Wow.
And 6 of us are adults, and to make up this world, and then a lot of girls in this because it's a select seminary for girls, and all the girls have, obviously have very fun personalities. There's Lottie, the very young Lottie, who throws these temper tantrums, and everybody has to deal with her. And Ermengarde, who's kind of a dim bulb and likes to eat, and she's funny. And Lavinia, who's jealous of Sarah Crew and has her own little group of girls who she talks to and talks bad about Sarah Crew. Yeah. So there's, it's just a school full of social interaction, and but it's a boarding school, and the biggest antagonist is Miss Minchin herself, who is very flowery and phony to Sarah and her father when she's wealthy, and then turns on her when she's not so wealthy.
I'm curious, Tom. So my notes say it's an adaptation that was originally authored as a short story by Frances Hodgson Burnett, and then published as a book in 1905. How difficult is that to bring something to the stage on that adaptation from so many years ago?
Oh, well, I mean, it's in England, and so we're trying English accents. The girl, the servants in this play are trying Cockney accents, and then Ramdas, who is an Indian servant, has an Indian accent. So that it's all hard enough, I mean, as soon as I think, oh, we can all do British, and then I'm playing Captain Crew, and I have to, look about 20 years younger and have an English accent. Oh, that's tough. Nothing's easy about that. And
give us an example.
Tom Cruise can do it. You can do it too,
Yeah,
Tom.
exactly. And I'm at least half the actor that Tom Cruise is. So.
So when you have a cast, Tom, whether it's a cast of 10 people or 30 people, are a lot of the lead roles done by the same people in the community, or is there more of a variety of?
Oh no, Sarah Crew, this is her first big part. And Lavinia, that's her first big part.
Okay.
I mean, they're all the girls who got the leads have had some experiences, but
Mhm.
last year Carly Argis played several understudies. She was an understudy for several people, and then had some parts also. But
Sure.
this is her first big role. It's the second time I've played Captain Crew in 20 years,
Mhm.
and
You were 20 years younger back then.
yeah, exactly. I looked better then. I looked more the part. Now I look like I'm Sarah Crew's great grandfather. So
So really, seriously, it's been 20 years since you did this?
I did it probably 12 years ago.
Okay.
And then I think I've done it twice. Yeah, I've done it. This is the third time I've done it. And so the first time was with a girl named Stacey Ogard as Sarah Crew. And then the second time was Bethany Larson playing Sarah Crew. And
Wow.
now it's Carly Argis. Yeah. So I've done it 3 times in 20 years.
Have you ever
Wow.
had some of those kids come up to you later as adults who's already having kids that could actually perform, come up to you and say, well, I remember when
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that is, when you have a job for 25 years, that is what happens, especially, a teaching job.
exactly.
That's the fun part. And I mean, Stacey Ogard, she's in Alaska right now, 20 years ago, but she was my daughter's best friend. And so I still see her
Oh, that's
20
awesome.
years later, that's fun.
So you want to throw out some names that are in this production?
Yeah,
You
Carly
don't
Argis is Sarah Crew, and Elsa Bookmeyer,
Carly who?
Carly Argis,
Okay.
and then Elsa Bookmeyer is Lavinia, and Molly McMichaels is Ermengarde. Eva Tho is Lottie. And then adults, I have Jacob Gray, who's done several things for me and is a really good actor, playing Mr. Carrisford, and Michelle Murray, who's also an excellent actress, is playing Miss Minchin. And Michelle Murray, 10 years ago or 12 years ago, played Miss Minchin's sister, Amelia, Miss Amelia. And now she's playing Miss Minchin, and she has a lot more lines now and is working even as we speak on learning every line, because I yell at them until they won't know their lines. The minimum requirement, of course, in theater is knowing your lines. That's
For sure. Jay, were you ever in theater in school?
Yeah, and I was horrible at it too.
You were horrible.
Yeah. We're in the one time, well, the 2 times I was in the Emperor's
new
Has No
clothes.
Clothes, or No Clothes. I was in that one in a small role. Well, yeah, it was kind of small. I can't remember who I played. And then there was another one too, the play that I tried out for and they wanted me. There was a kissing scene in there.
Oh, I know this story.
Yeah.
I love this one.
Yeah. So I was cast. And they go, "Oh, you two would make a great couple to do, but there's a kissing scene. Would you have a problem with that?" And I said, "Absolutely." And
How old were you?
I was sick. I was 16, I think, at least. Now, there's a reason I turned this kiss down, Tom, is because it was my aunt who was the other person that they wanted to cast me with as the couple.
I know he's got that
Oh.
puzzled look on his face, like, how did you go to high school with your aunt? But
I
there's
got you. I'm with you.
Yeah.
there's some gap there in years and stuff.
Yeah.
I've made the same mistake. I've cast a brother and sister in kissing scenes.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Not knowing it.
this will be perfect. And then they're looking at me like, I'm not kissing my sister.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and
So
I've
what
also,
happened?
here's my story, is I had this 13-year-old kid who was going to have to kiss a 12-year-old kid in a play. And I made the mistake of just kind of mentioning that we were all at Wendy's. We're eating lunch at Wendy's with all me and a bunch of kids. And I said to this girl, "Oh, by the way, you've got this kiss coming up in this," and I know it's like it's a ticklish subject, and
Right.
she instantly is crying at Wendy's. Mom, I can't do it. I got to turn down the roll, and I'm like, oh my god, I never knew. I mean, I thought this was going to be a gentle tease, and she's like crying. And he's younger than me. I don't like him. Blah blah blah. I went on and on all this stuff, and I said, well, how about if you just kiss his forehead? And that sort of quelled. She thought about that. But anyways,
Yeah, I was.
and then this is my other story. I'll tell you one more story, and then I'll shut up. The I'm doing The Hobbit, and there's kids playing elves and dwarves and goblins, and they're all size kids, and
Right.
there's boys and girls playing the dwarves because I'm bearding all. They're all wearing beards, and they have hats on, and I'm backstage. I turn the corner backstage, and here's two dwarves necking, and both with their beards on. They all have their beards on, and they're back there just mashing it up. I'm like, oh my
Yeah.
God, what am I seeing here?
You had to play patrol person.
Yeah, no, what I did was I turned around and walked out. I thought I can knock all they want right there, but I don't have to watch it, so.
Yeah.
So that's the title of my book. If I ever write a book about youth theater, it's gonna
Right.
be called Two Dwarves Necking.
That's good.
That is a good story. That'd be funny.
Yeah,
That
it
would be
was.
funny to see.
Well, Jay and I both know that we could probably never do what you do, and that we can't. No, even though we are in the entertainment business, we're just characters. We don't really know how to act.
Well, I don't. You don't have the patience. You have to have a lot of patience to do
Oh,
youth theater. I'm sitting like last night. I'm sitting from 7:30 to 9:30 working on adult actors learning their lines instead of them doing their homework and learning their lines at home. I'm sitting watching them rehearse and ensuring that they know their lines so that they look good in front of my kids. I want them to, they are good actors, but they have to know their lines. And
right.
so I'm there for 2 hours with my head in my hands, watching the script and ensuring that they know their lines and, beating it into them and them, working
Right.
on their lines. It's just like, I
Do-
can't believe all the kids know their lines, my adults not. So
Do you have you ever let anybody do like some ad lib and just kind of just stay with the
well, I mean,
storyline?
in the last couple of days, I quit working on lines and I try to work on the play, and they've reinvented their lines totally. They didn't learn their lines; they just learned what they thought their lines were, and I
That'd be
have,
Ryan
me.
Reynolds.
I have that.
That'd be me.
They think their lines are just as good as what was written
Of
because they've reinvented.
Yeah.
And I do my share of rewriting lines early in the process. That some lines that are just don't make any sense, or we've changed something and we have to change the line. We do plenty of that, but that's totally different than, oh, I don't know my lines, so I'm just going to make it up as I go along.
Mhm.
That's what some actors want to do, and it drives you crazy because then the cues are never sharp. You
Right.
never know, you never know what you're getting from the other actors, so you don't know when to speak. And so, anyways,
We're talking with Tom Ballmer, Stebens Children's Theater. A Little Princess, Sarah Crew, is opening on Wednesday. It's June 8th at 7 p.m. I want you to do two things here, Tom, before
Yeah.
we close. I want you to tell everybody how to get tickets.
Okay.
And then also, would you also talk about your, in quick version, we can go into more detail later, but the new season coming up and your summer
Sure,
classes too.
Yep. First of all, they want to call the box office between 12 noon and 5 p.m. weekdays for tickets. The number is 424-9802, and they can talk to our very friendly Liz Rocha and pick up tickets. And then our season next year, I have written with an alumni of Stebens, a musical called Raining Cats and Dogs, and that's going to head up our season. It's a very cute musical about an animal hospital and rescue operation called the Best Friends Animal and Rescue. And it was done at their high school in Ogden, and to great acclaim. And so I don't just say this is a great play because I wrote it, but it is a pretty good play, pretty good musical to start out the season. And it's not a big title. People don't know it, so that's why I'm going on about it. Then I'm doing the best Christmas pageant ever, which is a huge title. We're doing Alice Through the Looking Glass, which everybody knows.
Oh,
And then
yeah.
we're doing the musical Oliver, again everybody knows, and James and the Giant Peach. And so we have a bang up season. You can get your memberships now at early bird prices, rock bottom prices, and or you can just wait and buy your tickets next year.
You know, what about the classes?
Yeah, we've got summer classes. We have two-week production classes. It's a great way to kind of dip your finger into Stebens Children's Theater. You're not signing up for the year. You're just signing up for 2 weeks, and you find out if you want to be on stage or not. And everybody who's in the classes are in the production. And we have a big time. We have a lot of fun because we're not selling tickets to these little production classes. Just the parents come in, and so it doesn't have to be a great play. It just has to be fun, a fun 2 weeks, and then a play that the parents can stand watching. So,
and they'll be casting in 2023 for the play coming out in 2024. Two dwarfs necking.
Yeah, two dwarfs necking.
There you go. Well, for those of you that are watching, you can call, for those of you who are listening in our podcast, 424-9802. Is that still a correct number?
Yep.
Okay. And, of course, Stebens Children's Theater's website is stebensct.com for all the information. Thanks, Tom, for talking with me.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
And, Jay, why don't you take us out?
Well, the Fox 401 and Kiss Country Neighborhood News brought to you by CG Public Health. Make sure you log on and check them out today if you need anything like that. But that's what we do. Talk to local people every single week. And Tom, again, thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right.